Bro, this team is finding ways every single game, every single podcast for us to come on here and say they're doing something no one expected them to do. They just beat the Boston Celtics. They've won 8 in a row. Let's get into today's episode, man. Let's go.
You are Locked On Pistons, your daily Detroit Pistons podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's the deal? Welcome back to another episode of the Locked On Pistons podcast. Per usual, I'm your host, Kuka Hill. You can find me over on Twitter at Kuka Hill. I want to thank you guys for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We're free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons. Hit that subscribe button or leave us a 5-star review, whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. That's another great way to support the podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Type in your email at LockedOnDaily.com. You get a Locked On Pistons daily newsletter. We had over 110 people watching the game together in the Pistons fan base with me in the playback room. It was the most lit it's ever been. So much fun. If you want to join the playback room and watch the games with us and help support me, click the link down below, join the room, and be able to watch every Pistons game together. Just an absolute lit experience. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, bro, you guys can see I don't even have bullet points on the screen. I just got, the Pistons won again, man. The Pistons won again, 8 in a row. I don't know where we're going to go with this episode. All I know is that this win was so big time and such a crazy lit moment for this fan base that I thought I'd be doing you guys an injustice if I did not come on here and just give you guys my raw reaction. Just my raw feelings right now and how I'm if I came on here and just waited 30 minutes after the game and got down notes, I wouldn't be doing you guys justice. I'm recording this literally 5-7 minutes after the game just ended. The Pistons beat the Boston Celtics. And they didn't just beat the Boston Celtics. They took BTA to the Celtics. You know how to fill it in. Belt to bleep. They dominated the Boston Celtics. They won this game by 20 points. Joel Mazzulla emptied out the bench with around 4 minutes left in this game. We talked about this on yesterday's episode. I came on here and said the Boston Celtics are the NBA champions for a reason. They are a tough matchup for every team in the NBA. Expecting this team to beat the Celtics is unfair to them. If they lose, it doesn't mean the season is fluke or the winning streak's fluke. Just be ready. If they do lose, don't freak out. It's not the end of the world. This is the NBA champs. Well, silly me. You know what? What am I looking for? I'm looking for something to hit me with. Stupid me. The Pistons won. Who cares about them potentially losing? They won this game. They beat the Boston Celtics, the NBA champions, at Little Caesars Arena. I understand the Philly game was big time without Cade, and it definitely is one of their most big time wins of the season. But this win right here is number one. I don't care what anyone says. This win right here is number one. They beat a team that is 42-17. They beat a team that just won the NBA championship last year. And yes, they didn't have Jaylen Brown in this game, but they had Jason Tatum, Al Horford, Kristaps, Drew Holiday, and Derek White, along with Payne Pritchard. It's not like they were going against the B team. They were missing one dude. They still have 3 other damn near all-stars on their team. The Pistons came out here and showed up and showed out and took down the Boston Celtics to win 8 games in a row. 8 games. Who thought they would be doing this? Every podcast, it feels like. Actually, first, I want to say this. I'm so happy for you guys. I'm so happy for the rest of the Pistons fan base because obviously how down the Pistons fan base has been, especially coming off last year. But even over the last 15 years, man, it's been tough. It's been tough. And you are watching the most fun, most joyful, the most hope, the most, just the light at the end of the tunnel is damn near blinding. It's right in all of our faces. It's blinding all of us. That's how bright the light at the end of the tunnel is for this team right now. They are 33-26. 33-26. We on the playback stream, one of the people that watches the stream with us and hosts it with me, our guy Matt Griffin, he's been on the podcast before. He let us know. He brought this point up. Not only are we talking about the Pistons just making the playoffs, not only are we talking about the Pistons potentially winning a playoff game, not only are we talking about the Pistons competing to try to win a playoff series, We are now in serious conversations to be had that the Pistons could be hosting home court in the playoffs, could be having home court advantage in the playoffs. They are 32-26. They have the same amount of wins as the 4th seeded Pacers. They are a game behind the Pacers because the Pacers have played 2 less games. In their last 10 games, they are 8-2. Actually, make that 9-1 now, I believe. 9-1. Actually, no, the standings haven't updated right yet. I'm wrong. The NBA standings have not updated yet. They're 33-26. So I believe that would put them right behind the Pacers because they played 1 less game. The Pistons are in a position where they are actually fighting for not just the playoffs, not just to win a playoff game. They are fighting to have home court advantage in the playoffs. Who the hell would have believed you if you said this 7 months ago when you were watching the worst season in Pistons history? Guys, there is no one that could have expected this team to be this good already. To expect this team to be this good already. They just keep finding ways to impress you, game in and game out. They are finding ways to win games in multiple different ways. The Hawks game, you have to win a shootout, check mark, we can do that. This Clippers game, you have to win a defensive battle, low scoring game, check mark, we can do that. You have to win a game where Cade's not having a good shooting night. Check mark. We did that against the Boston Celtics of all teams. This team is the absolute bright spot of the Detroit sports scene right now. They have the city's attention. They have the city's support. They have the fan support. And they deserve it. And not only do they deserve the Detroit fan support, this city's support, which they're getting, it's about damn time they start getting some national love. And I'm not talking about a quick throwaway from Tim Legler. By the way, Legs, do a great job. Love to have you on the podcast one day. But they need more than just Tim Legler being the only one who wants to give them a little throwaway. They need some talk. They've won 8 in a row. The only team with more wins than, there's only 3 teams in the NBA with more wins than them since January 1st. Start talking about them, ESPN. Start talking about them, Fox Sports. Start talking about them. Because they deserve their respect. I'm not, you know what, from now on when we talk about this team, I am no longer, I'm not making this mistake no more. We won't do it no more on this podcast. From now on, I am no longer saying anything the Pistons can't do something. Because I did not think they could beat the NBA champions. And they did that. I didn't think they would ever go on an 8-game win streak. They've done that. I didn't think they would beat Philadelphia on national stage without their best player, but they did that. Like, every which way we go, they do something that we think they can't do, that we think they shouldn't be able to do, and they do it. You are watching this young core develop in front of your eyes and lead the way. You are watching this veteran presence that Trajan Langdon brought in. With all these vets, you're watching them be the absolute perfect vets for this team and for this city. Malik Beasley, damn near throw his jersey up in the rafters at this point. I give him a lifetime contract. If he's ever not a Detroit Piston again, I might lose it. And I think half the fan base will start crying. Hang his jersey up in the rafters at this point. That dude is crazy. This team this year is a special year. This is a year that Pistons fans are always going to remember. It doesn't have to end in a championship for this to be a memorable year that people talk about, because this year will be known as the year the Pistons turned things around. This will be known as the year that the Pistons became that respectable legacy franchise again. That they're no longer the laughingstock like they've been the last 15 years. They are now the respectable, really good team that deserves everyone's respect and can beat anyone on any given night, man. The Pistons won again. This was a fantastic game. Fantastic game. Took belt to blank to the Boston Celtics, bro. Absolutely fantastic win. Take down Jason Tatum. Take down Kristaps. Take down Drew. Take down Derek White. Take down Joe Mazzulla. And the Pistons survived 9 straight threes in that second quarter, by the way. They survived the Boston just clash of threes raining in. They survived that, and they still came out and came out on top. This team is legit, bro. Put some respect on their name. When we come back, we'll actually start breaking down parts of the game that need to be talked about. But I thought you guys deserved to just get my raw emotion and feelings and thoughts immediately after the game. I'm sure you guys are feeling the exact same way as I am right now. This was a goated at. Oh, sorry, Nick. Sorry, David. I stopped myself. This was a goated game. You guys almost got like uncensored coup for a minute there. But that's how the Pistons got me feeling right now. When we come back, we'll break down the game. Ausar Thompson had an argument in this game to be the best player on the floor. Seriously. You guys know who it is. It's FanDuel. I told you guys this many a times. A few years ago, I started using FanDuel. I have not turned back since. It's super fun to use, super self-explanatory, but most importantly, super fun to use. When the game tips off, the NBA action is just getting started, and there's no better place to get in on it than with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game, so even if you miss the opening tip-off or want to bet on a fourth quarter comeback, you can stay in the action. And if you're looking for a bigger payout, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. So I want to thank you guys again for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons. Hit that subscribe button or leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. That's another great way to support the podcast. I'm going to shout it out again. Come join us in the playback room. Watch the Pistons games with us. This last game was the most jumping it's been. It was so much fun watching this game with everybody, laughing and joking around back and forth, excited, freaking out over the same plays. It was crazy. We had so many people in there. So much fun. I'll link it down below, the playback room, for you to join us and watch the next Pistons game with us. I really appreciate it. I know you guys would love it as well. It's so much fun. But let's get into this game, man. Let's get into how they actually won and what happened. Because the first segment was just pure emotion, excitement, enjoyment, hopefulness, all of that, just the first segment. The Pistons won this game on the backs of their defense. Their defense has been absolutely lights out. And bro, if you didn't watch this game, you have to go back and watch it. I'm making a promise to you guys right now. I'm hoping to get it out tomorrow. I'm saying this on Wednesday. I'm hoping to get this out on Thursday. If not, we'll get it out by Friday. But I'm going to have a film breakdown on my YouTube channel for how the defensive masterpiece that Ausar Thompson put on in that third quarter. What Ausar Thompson did to Jason Tatum and that Boston Celtics offense in that third quarter is the best defensive quarter I have seen all NBA season across the league. Ausar Thompson has an argument to be considered the best player on the Pistons in this game. And that's with the stat line of 7 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and 5 steals. But he has an argument to be the best player in this game for him. And if you watch this game, you would completely agree. You are watching Ausar. I don't even know how to best explain the impact he has on this team. There was a stretch in the third quarter when he was clamping up Jason Tatum, denying him, not letting him get any clean looks off. How many turnovers actually did Jason Tatum have? All of his turnovers were on Ausar. He had 4 turnovers in this game. Ausar had 5 steals. They took 1 away. He did have 6, but the stat line took 1 away. I don't know why, but they took 1 away. Ausar was clamping up Tatum, and then somehow, while clamping Tatum up, was still disrupting the rest of the Celtics offense and getting the Pistons out in transition, creating shots for others and creating shots for himself. There was one point where Ausar put Jason Tatum on skates. Hit him with the in-and-out crossover. It had Jason Tatum falling. And then I wish he would have just tried to dunk it. But then he dumps it off beautiful past the Stu, who gets fouled and goes to the line. I wish he would have just went up and dunked with it, bro. I would have lost my mind, bro. I'd be on here losing it. But Ausar Thompson, man, look. He is the second most impactful player on this team. He is the second best player on this team. The level of impact he has on the defensive end of this floor is unexplainable. It's just unexplainable. That third quarter tape, I'm telling you, anyone asked you how good Ausar is, just play that third quarter tape. I mean, this dude was guarding Tatum, tagging down on rolls, getting back, closing out on shooters, stopping the drive, then getting the defensive rebound, and then pushing. He would clamp up Jason. There was one possession. He clamped up Jason Tatum, made him pick up his dribble, kicked it back out to Derek White. Derek White drives. Ausar then digs down, rips up Derek White, takes it on a fast break, gets an easy layup for somebody. I mean, he was like, it was that third quarter, seriously, I swear to God, is an absolute masterpiece on defensive impact. It was seriously a generational defensive quarter. It was crazy how good he was on that end of the floor. So Ausar, major props to him. He had a scary injury late in the game. Now they're saying that it was just a I forget it was left calf or right calf, but a cramp basically. It was a cramp, a calf cramp. So thank God, because it did look ugly for a second. I was petrified, but they said he's good. We heard from the PR team, said it's just a cramp. So he should be all right. He was standing on the bench at the end, celebrating with everybody, so he looks like he's straight. But Ausar was just, dude, he was just crazy. He was just great, man. Great. And then this is something I want to point out about Cade Cunningham. Cade in this game shot 9 of 21 from the field. He shot 1 of 4 from deep. This was not a good shooting game from Cade. He ended up with 21 points on 21 shots. Wasn't a great shooting game. But Cade has entered the conversation of, or entered the room, where he is one of those players that I honestly feel like it's impossible now, or not impossible, but it's hard for him to have a just straight up bad game. Because even when he shoots poorly from the field, even when he doesn't have an efficient shooting game, he impacts the game in so many different ways and generates so much for the Detroit Pistons that it's impossible for him to not be a positive on any given night. It's damn near impossible for him to not be a positive. Despite the shooting night, I mean, we already know this, but plus 12 in this game. Obviously, they were going to win his minutes. He had 11 assists in this game, just creating open shot after open shot after open shot for the Pistons. People, this is something that people wanted to see from him earlier in the season. People asked for him to play faster. Now that Ausar is in here, you see them playing faster. And Cade in transition is a playmaking monster. Cade as a playmaker in transition is almost guaranteed. I have to assume, including passes, he's scoring 1.5 points per possession. Like, if you included passes. I'm going to have to go find it out, find a site that tracks it, because I lost my Synergy account for some reason. They took it away from me last week, which I don't get it. I guess they don't offer it no more. But because with the threes he creates for Malik Beasley, whether it's his own bucket, or if it's an alley-oop to Ausar, or Ron, or Duren, or a dump-off pass to Stu, or Ron cutting down, it's impossible, damn near impossible, to put it at that, for Cade to just have an overall bad game where he doesn't impact the game and is overall a positive impact for the Pistons. That's where their star has entered. That's where their franchise guy, the conversations he's entered, the rooms he's entered, and he's great. He's great, man. Finds a way, and he's one of those offensive engines that competes defensively and is a good defender. He was if you watch this game, they had Cade guarding Kristaps for a majority of this game. When Duren would go out, they would have Cade on Kristaps and trust him to guard Kristaps and allow Stu to hang out on the perimeter and kind of try to play Romer a little bit. They trusted Cade to guard Kristaps. You're not asking Luka to do something like that. You're not asking prime James Harden to do something like that. I'm not saying Cade's better than those guys, but he offers something different, is my point. That's what's going to separate him in his prime. That's what's going to separate him from these other offensive engines, is that he can give it also on the defensive end. It's kind of like Shea, which I'm not saying he's Shea. Shea's going to be the MVP this year, okay? I'm not saying he's already better than Shea, but it's like the impact Shea provides. Shea is one of the best defensive guards in the league as well. He gives it on both ends of the floor, and you see how much of an impact he has. It's going to be like that in Cade's prime. That's what Cade's going to be like in his prime, because he can give it on both ends, and he generates so much for the Pistons. Just fantastic stuff, man. Fantastic stuff from Ausar. I thought he was the best Piston on the floor, and their franchise player still found a way to be impactful, despite, I should say, having an off shooting night. And there's one more dude I want to shout out before we move on to the next segment. Listen, man, we gave him his own segment a few episodes ago, but we're going to give him even more love right now. Tobias freaking Harris, man. There was a possession that I don't think anyone expected Tobias to be doing on the defensive end when they signed him. Two possessions I'm going to point out for you guys. There was one, Tatum ran a high pick and roll with Kristaps. Tobias is guarding 2 on the weak side because they put 2 on the ball on Tatum. Kristaps is rolling into open space. Tobias basically is guarding 2-on-1. He's guarding the wing, the 3. He's guarding the 2 on the weak side and the spotting up, and he's having to guard the pick and roll as well. He does a fantastic job of playing both. Baits Jason Tatum into throwing the roll pass to the roller, and he sneaks over and intercepts that pass, leads the Pistons on a break and gets a bucket. Fantastic defensive play. But another play that was even more impressive from Tobias on the defensive end. I'm talking about him on defense, by the way. On offense, he was 16, 9 rebounds, 16 points, that is. 6 of 10 shooting, 2 of 4 from deep. Fantastic on that end. But then the other play defensively that lets you know how locked in the Pistons were on defense in this game, Tobias, the Boston Celtics run a high-end pick and roll again. Except this time, it's with THJ. THJ guarding the ball handler, and Stu was guarding Kristaps. And they switch. So now THJ is on Kristaps. And now Boston's frantically trying to get it to the wing so they can get entry past the Kristaps. Tobias sees this, immediately scram switches, which is when the guy in the weak side corner or the weak side wing knows it's a mismatch. He's bigger, so he gets the smaller defender out so he can be on the perimeter. And then the bigger defender, which is Tobias, switches down low before they can get it to the entry pass. So now Tobias is guarding to Kristaps, which is a better matchup for the Pistons. They get the ball to Kristaps. Kristaps goes to turn and shoot, and then Tobias swipes it down. Not only is it incredible IQ, incredible rotation, but then an incredible play on defense to sum it all up. And then the Pistons are pushing and transition again and score another bucket. The Pistons are getting buy-in from everybody, and not just on the offensive end of the floor, but on the defensive end of the floor. JB got Tobias Harris given the best defensive minutes that we've seen in a long time. It's not just Ausar, even though Ausar's been just insane. It's not just Cade. It's not just Duran improved effort. You're getting improved effort from Tobias. Heck, even THJ, 2 back-to-back possessions in the third quarter, they're running side pick and roll on the right wing with Peyton Pritchard and Al Horford, and THJ is getting skinny, getting over the screen, getting back in front of Payne Pritchard. Getting skinny, getting back over in front of Payne Pritchard, forcing an end of shot clock shot. The very next possession, they try to go to the exact same thing and try to target THA, side pick and roll. THA gets over the first screen, they try to rescreen it, he beats Payne Pritchard to the screen, and gets a moving screen called because he beats the offensive player to the screen and gets a moving screen called. JB Bickerstaff is getting buy-in and utmost effort defensively from his older veterans. And when you are getting that on the floor, you are going to win games. And that's what they're getting. This defensive second half. How many points did the Celtics score in the second half? Let me just read it to you guys, actually. Where is it? The Celtics scored what? 42 points in the second half? They scored 42 points in the second half. That second half defensive game plan from the Pistons and the execution from everyone, from Ausar Thompson, who was the head of it, all the way down to Tim Hardaway Jr. was exceptional. Exceptional. Great stuff, fantastic defense, and just fantastic. I can't wait to do this film breakdown because that quarter was by far the Pistons' best defensive quarter of the year. Just tremendous execution from everyone involved, man. Let me know in the comment section down below how you guys feel about the Pistons' defense in this game. When we come back, we're just going to keep this excitement going. We're going to keep talking about this game because this game was just ain't a row, man. Ain't a row. We'll talk more about it coming up, man. With Robinhood Gold, you can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving 3% IRA match on retirement contributions. The privileges of the very privileged are no longer exclusive. With Robinhood Gold, your annual IRA contributions are boosted by 3%, plus you also get 4% APY in your cash in non-retirement accounts. That's over 8 times the national savings average. The perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive your 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rate subject to change. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold at $5 a month for 1 year from the first match. Must keep funds in an IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Over 8 times the national average savings account interest rate claim is based on data from the FDIC as of November 18th, 2024. Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC. The new gold standard is here at Robinhood.com/gold. I want to thank you guys again for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. Free and available on all your podcast platforms. Hit that subscribe button to the YouTube channel. Leave us a 5-star review, whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. And join us in the playback rooms, man. Watch the games with us. Come chill with us. I'll link it down below. It's not just those guys I mentioned that deserve credit for this win, man. It's not just Cade. It's not just Ausar. It's not just Tobias. Not just THJ. Jalen Duren in a quiet night. 13 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, and 6 of 7 shooting. Gave great effort in this game. Gave great effort. Wasn't his most perfect game defensively. His closeouts, and he bit on a few closeouts and on a few pump fakes. Not his greatest game defensively, but the effort is still there. The effort, he was trying every possession. The buy-in, the second and third and fourth efforts were there from him, and that's what you want from him. You want the buy-in, you want the effort, and you can live with that, and that's what you got from JD. Malik Beasley, we just talked about him earlier. 10 of 15 from the field, 6 of 11 from deep, 26 points in 22 minutes. He was scoring over a point a minute. Over a point a minute? And he was taking this matchup with Payne Pritchard so seriously, so disrespectfully. He got a defensive rebound over Payne Pritchard and straight up looked him down. And then following possession, hits a 3 in his face from damn near the logo, gives him the 2 small, hits another 3, points to the crowd, lets him know this is my city. Malik Beasley, put his number up in the rafters, dog. Just put his number 5 up in the rafters for no one else to ever use number 5 again. Malik Beasley should get a lifetime contract from the Detroit Pistons. I mean, this dude has been, look, he should certainly be in the conversation for 6th man of the year. Certainly. Should be damn near number 1. He is having one of the best shooting seasons of all time. I saw Zach Lowe tweet this out recently. I could be off slightly with the numbers. But per 36, there's only been one other player per 36 minutes to shoot over 42% on 11 attempts per 36. The only other guy to do it is Steph Curry, which, by the way, Steph's done it 5 times, which is just like, dude, what the hell? But the only other guy besides Steph to do it, Malik Beasley this season. Malik is putting up, seriously, I'm not joking, I'm not exaggerating. Malik is putting up one of the best shooting seasons the NBA has ever seen this year. That's how crazy his shooting season has been. He has been fantastic for them. Otherworldly. This has to be one of the greatest signings, the greatest low-value signings ever made in Pistons history. Has to be top 3 at least. Has to be top 3. This dude is just crazy, man. And he embodies the city's personality. And also with that, not only does he embody the city's personality, not only is he balling on the court, but he is the most perfect veteran for these guys in that locker room. Lifetime contract. Give him a lifetime contract. And there's one other dude I want to hit on. Actually, give Stu his credit. Stu was fantastic defensively, as he usually is. As he always is. He had 2 blocks in this game, plus 19 team high. We know how great Stu is defensively. Clap it up for Stu. We know how impactful he is, bro. We know. We get it. But one other dude I want to shout out. Ron frickin' Holland. Some of Ron Holland's plays he made in that second half. The touch he has around the rim. One of the drives he had on a kick out. Cade kicks it out to him to a wing. He attacks Jason Tatum on a closeout, gets all the way to the rim, and finishes over him. Tremendous touch. Doesn't even hit rim. Hits all net. He has great touch around the rim, and his ability as a slasher. You see his future potential. He is going to be a slashing scorer. Like, he's going to be an uber efficient scorer. I think, in his future, in his prime. Someone who lives at the rim, you can't stop him from getting to the rim. And he's gonna be an efficient scorer. And you get what he brings you defensively. He's active on the glass. He himself had 3 steals himself. Guys, look. The Pistons scored 117 points in this game. Their offense has been good too, but I cannot tell you enough. If you did not watch this game, go back and watch it. If you like bad boys type of games, if you want to go into work defense type of games, if that's the kind of games you love and you want the NBA to embody more the 2000s defense, the 80s defense, and like that stuff, if that's what you want to see from the NBA, go watch the Pistons' second half defense. This was the best half of defense I've seen them play all year, from top down. And Ron was a part of it too. 3 steals, and offensively, like I said, getting to the rim in transition and within the half court. And you see him, one of the parts of his game that you're seeing him starting to get better and learn is his timing on cuts and making decisions off of those cuts. He had a 45 cut in this game, which is where you cut down kind of like the slot area, cutting down from the wing basically. Cade's driving down baseline and Ron cuts down like that wing area. Not only is Ron timing those better and realizing where the open space is and getting to those spots at the right time, he's also getting better at not just always going up with it, at catching it off that cut, realizing the big has to rotate over, and then immediately dumping it off to either Stu or Duren. Or even a play where he bounce passes it to Ausar Thompson, who's cutting down the opposite baseline, and then Ausar gets a layup. Like, the best part, and we'll wrap up the podcast here, man. The best part of this winning streak, the best part of this season, is being spearheaded by the young guys. He's being spearheaded by the young guys, and you're watching them all develop and get better. You've seen Ausar get better and better and better. You're seeing JD get better and better and better. You're watching it in live time happen. You're watching them learn this stuff and get better in live time right before your eyes. And you're watching Ron from the beginning of the year where his processing wasn't the best, his playmaking wasn't the best, his decision-making wasn't the best. You're watching it get better right before your eyes. Ron's not making those passes, that decision, that read, earlier in the season. He's not. He's making it now. All of these guys are getting better. And that's what happens when you provide this type of environment in the locker room and on the court. It encourages development. It encourages positive development. 8 in a row for your Detroit Pistons. They're 33-26. They are not just fighting now to remain as the 6th seed. They are now fighting to have home court advantage in the playoffs. They are now fighting for the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference. Detroit Pistons basketball is back. Detroit basketball, you know them Pistons won again. 8 in a row. That's all I've got for you guys. Locked On Pistons podcast. Thank you guys for making it first listen of every single day. Hit that subscribe button to the YouTube channel. We're on our way to 20,000 subscribers. Leave us a 5-star review, whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. Subscribe to the Playback Room. Join us. Watch these games with us. We're going to have a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun the last few games. This past game was amazing. Join us. Till next episode, man. Go Pistons. 8 in a row. 8 in a row. Milwaukee, Indiana. Detroit's coming, man. Till next time. Peace out, everybody.